So that will be, maybe that's our transition into a discussion of using VS Code as an IDE. And my presentation is going to be more demos than slides. And the demos are recorded so that I can move through them and narrate them and not have any unfortunate episodes. So here is, oh well, no, yeah, you were actually, I think I got called out, name checked twice yesterday. But so if you are in VS Code, there is an extensions area on the left. And when you select extensions, you can go up to the search field and type GemStone. You'll see a few things, some of them not related to our database, but one of them is Jasper, a GemStone Smalltalk IDE. From GemTalk Systems, and you can select and install it. We are updating it several times a week, and I've made some changes this morning, but we'll publish a new version of it later this morning. So what you see will be available within, if not now, shortly. Once we have that, the process of downloading and installing GemStone has always been a bit of a challenge. There's a several hundred-page install guide, and you need to do lots of things on the command line. Instead, with VS Code, if you're on Windows or Mac, we can run GemStone native. And so there is in the top left a list of versions that you can just click a download and it will download that version, extract, it will extract it and install it on your system. So here I've got 3.7.5, the latest. Then you can define a database. Create a database, set up the various infrastructure, and then with that database, I can browse for an extent. This is pick the image that you want to launch. So I'm going to select an extent from this directory, replace the current one, and then select run for the database and run for the NetLDI, another service that's nice to have running. And that is the first video. One of the questions people ask is why VS Code? And Norm has pointed out that yes, this is the IDE that people are used to using that are outside of the Smalltalk community. And even for us, it has a number of built-in features, including Git and then extensions for things like Claude. Here I have an actual database. I'm going to use Claude to interact with the data. I'm not writing Smalltalk code. I'm writing natural language queries that say, how many contracts are in this database, a customer database? There are 6 of them. How many invoices do we have in this customer database? There's 28 of them, 26. How many invoices are due this month? I can ask questions, get answers. It has to figure out what today is, what this month means, what due. 7 of them. how many invoices have a different currency for the contract from the invoice? So need currency conversions. Well, that again takes a little bit of calculation, a little bit of thinking, a few tokens, and we identify one contract that's euros to US dollars, another that's Singapore dollars to US dollars. Next question is, what's the exchange rate in these contracts? And so it identifies the exchange rate as 1 to 1. And it says, that seems like it's economically off and likely a seed data artifact. So Claude is recognizing that we've got some bad data here that would warrant some fixes. And I have other demos of how to do that. I'm going to jump now to some enhanced inspectors. We will see later today presentations on the Glamorous Toolkit, and this is based on the Glamorous Toolkit. GT for GemStone has a server portion and a client portion. The server portion is installed in GemStone, and it says, when you are inspecting an object of this class, here is some metadata to describe how we would like to see it presented. And so we'll show that. Then the client side, again, the Glamorous Toolkit is in Pharo, but we can take the same metadata and apply it here. I'm going to use VS Code, connect a session, log in, open a browser, go to User Globals, see classes on the top, globals below, non-class globals. I'm going to inspect an object. Double click on it to open an inspector. This is again the GT Enhanced Inspector. Color is not showing up real well, but bold, normal. Follow the flow of pick something, then go to something else, see more details. Here we have a list of the invoices, and then we can see more details on a particular invoice. And I think that is our view. Then we can disconnect, and when you disconnect, the browsers and the other things go away. Now, one of the things an IDE needs to do is help you manage source code. Here we have a prototype that is, shall I say, new as of last night and this morning. You're seeing it first here. One of our new hires is Stephen Baker. Norm mentioned he learned Smalltalk when we were doing the Ruby project and became quite a fan of GemStone, the database. He has quite a bit of experience with package managers and other things. So he's been playing for a week or so on what would a package manager look like. So here I'm in a directory called esugdemo. Not very easy to read there. And if I go to the GemStone section, expand the database, I'm going to install the Rowan 3 database. And that has some pre-built things in it. I'm going to start the database and start the NetLDI. And then I'm going to look here at the Rowan section of the VS Code view. And you can see that there's a number of built-in packages: announcement, Cypress, file system, Rowan, Ston, and others. So we've got built-in things. And then what I can do is I can go to a website, pick a URL, and then I can click Add One and provide the URL, and it will download those. I'm going to pick a second one, hello, and say add that to my local environment, and that will get downloaded. And we can go to the file system and see that hello Seaside and Seaside itself are here. And Stephen has a README that describes this, Seaside loadable with Rowan in VS Code. And from there, we can go back to GemStone. We can load. There's a button for load, which says bring this from the file system into the repository. So we're loading Seaside, and then we're going to load our hello application. With that, now you can see that in addition to the built-in packages, we also have our two additional packages. I'm going to then again open the system browser. I'm going to go to the classes, filter, look for our Hello World app, and see the method that it contains, hello from Seaside. Then Stephen has given us a VS Code command that says in GemStone, start Seaside, serve Seaside. So if you pick that, it will start up a new Topaz session externally, and then in a browser, we will have a Seaside browser with Hello World. So this is running through VS Code. We can see the web browser has a Seaside application that got loaded that way. Now, the other item advertised was Python. Python running in GemStone. We are looking to make GemStone a multilingual capable. And right now, perhaps befitting an American company, it only speaks one language, but we'd like to teach it to speak some other languages. And Smalltalk will still be its native tongue, but Python is a new language that it is learning. We're going to start with a Jupyter notebook. So rather than the traditional workspace, we can have a Jupyter notebook. We can say, execute this code snippet, and you see that it says, which kernel should I use? Which Python do you want me to use to run this code? And we say, I'd like to use Grail or GemStone Python. And so when I select that, it says, okay, I'll go run this in GemStone. We get an answer. But this approach of a Jupyter notebook where you can have code, markdown, is something that is available also for Smalltalk. And so here I have a Smalltalk code space, and I can paste a chunk of Smalltalk code and get essentially the same thing. Now, in addition to just running snippets of Python code, we can take an entire Python application. And this Python application, the one that we're using as a demo, we're going back to this app, Seaside app that we showed earlier, and we're going to say, when there's a new invoice, I'd like to get notified on my phone or through WhatsApp. So here in our VS Code environment, you can see a Python program. So this is send whatsapp.py. It is got an endless loop while true at the top and sleep for 1 second at the bottom. And what it does is it pulls a list of the invoices and looks for new invoices. If it finds a new invoice, it uses Twilio to send a WhatsApp message. So in the terminal, I'm going to go and say, rather than Python, I'm saying Grail and giving the path. Grail is a command line version of Python that runs in GemStone. Here you can see my Twilio sandbox. This is WhatsApp. So whatsapp.com in the web version so that I can record it on my computer. And you can see that I've cleared my current messages. I'm going to come back over to the Seaside app and look at creating a new invoice. So this new invoice fills in various details, and then I'm going to click Add, and then I'm going to come back and look, and now we have a message on my WhatsApp that's been sent from GemStone running Python code. I think at this point I'm going to open it up to questions. There's lots more that could be said, but why don't we go ahead and turn on the lights and offer microphones.